Ever feel like those articles, the ones like top 10 secrets to success? They're written in a whole other language. Like maybe we're missing a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah.
So today we're ditching those tired old lists and taking a deep dive into how another culture views success.
I like it. It's fascinating because it really challenges our assumptions, right? We see those top 10 habits of successful people lists, but they're usually coming from a very specific viewpoint, often Western. So today we're going beyond those cliches, really unpacking this interview with Shun, a Chinese-Spanish entrepreneur.
Okay, so a bicultural perspective.
Exactly. And this interview on the Elite podcast, it's gold. He gives us some serious insider insights.
All right, so before we go full-on wisdom of the East, give me the lowdown on Shun. What makes his story so unique?
Okay, so picture this. You're born in Spain, but your family's story, it starts in a small Chinese village. Shun's father emigrated when he was just 16. No money, no education, and didn't speak a word of Spanish.
Oh.
Talk about a crash course in resilience, right? But that entrepreneurial spirit, that unwavering belief in a better future, it's deeply ingrained in Shun's DNA.
Okay, that's a serious started from the bottom, now we're here story. You can practically feel the ambition like radiating off of that. It almost reminds me of the American dream, but with a distinctly Chinese flavor.
Yeah.
So how does this influence Shun's outlook on work and success?
It's not just about building a business, right? It's about building a legacy, honoring those sacrifices of the generation before you. This deep-seated work ethic, this drive to make things happen, it permeates Chinese culture. And it often manifests in their approach to, well, let's call it work-life balance, or the lack thereof, maybe.
You're talking about that infamous 996 work culture, right?
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week.
9 to 9, 6 days a week. Here in the West, we're dreaming of 4-day work weeks, and they're putting in 72-hour weeks. That's insane.
It's intense, no doubt about it. But Shun, he highlights this important cultural nuance, this Chinese saying, where there is crisis, there is opportunity. So this relentless drive, it isn't just about clocking in the hours. It's about seizing every chance, maximizing every minute to get ahead.
So it's about prioritizing your goals, even if it means making some serious sacrifices along the way. Not saying we should all start pulling all-nighters, but what can we learn from this laser-like focus? How can we apply that, but in a way that respects our well-being to our own lives?
That's the question, right? It's about finding your own version of that hustle, that commitment to your vision. It begs the question, what are you willing to go all in on? What are you ready to burn the boats for?
I like that, burn the boats. It implies there's no turning back, no plan B. It takes guts to go after something with that kind of certainty.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another fascinating aspect of Chinese culture. Family. And the role it plays in shaping these ambitions and driving this success.
Okay, let's unpack that. I mean, we know family is important in most cultures, but what makes the Chinese approach stand out?
It's about Shun, this deep-rooted respect for elders, this sense of duty to bring honor to your family name. It's like the thread woven into the very fabric of their society, influencing everything from career choices to, get this, relationship decisions.
So it's more than just Sunday dinners and phone calls on birthday.
Oh, way more.
It's about considering the impact of your choices on the entire family unit. That's fascinating.
And speaking of family, this sense of interconnectedness, it even extends to choosing a partner. Shun mentions how parents are often heavily involved in their children's relationships, sometimes even using WeChat groups to, get this, vet potential partners.
Whoa, hold up. WeChat groups, like mom and dad are swiping through potential suitors. That's next level involvement.
Right. It is. And it highlights the significant cultural difference. While dating apps and individual choice are the norm in many Western cultures, in China, there's this greater emphasis on family approval, finding a partner who aligns with the family's values, their aspirations.
It's like they're looking at the big picture, thinking about how this one decision impacts not just the individual, but the entire lineage. Makes you think about the long-term implications, right? It's not just about love and butterflies. It's about building a future together that honors the family's legacy. So how does this family-centric approach, how does it influence their relationship with wealth and success? Because from the outside looking in, it seems like they're killing it in the business world.
It's true. I mean, China's economic rise has been remarkable, and with that comes this certain fascination with wealth. But here's the interesting contradiction. While often perceived as materialistic, there's also this deep-rooted cultural value of discretion, a belief that true wealth whispers, it doesn't shout.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not about flaunting your riches, but about using your success to create stability and security for yourself and your family.
Precisely. It ties back to that Confucian value of humility,
Mm.
of knowing that true wealth, it lies not in outward appearances, but in the strength of your relationships, the well-being of your family, and the contributions you make to society.
Okay, so we've got this potent mix of ambition, family values, and this nuanced approach to wealth. It's like a recipe for success, but one that's very different from the narratives we often hear in the West. So where do we go from here? How do we unpack this even further?
Well, one fascinating concept Shun brings up is the bamboo strategy. Imagine a Chinese bamboo tree. It spends years establishing deep roots, almost invisible beneath the surface. Then, seemingly overnight, it shoots up to incredible heights.
Okay.
This metaphor, it perfectly encapsulates the Chinese approach to long-term growth and success.
I love that analogy. It's about trusting the process, putting in the work, knowing that even when you don't see immediate results, something incredible is brewing beneath the surface.
Exactly. And this applies to so many aspects of life, from building a business to developing your skills, even to nurturing meaningful relationships. It's about playing that long game, staying focused on your vision, and having the patience to see it through.
So how does Shun exemplify this bamboo strategy in his own life? I mean, this guy's clearly doing something right.
Well, he talks about how he started creating content online when he was just 16.
16.
Yeah, years of consistent effort, honing his craft, finding his voice, building an audience. And there were no shortcuts, no overnight successes. It was about showing up day after day, refining his message, and trusting that the right people would eventually find him.
That takes a certain level of dedication, especially in a world obsessed with instant gratification. It's like he had this inner knowing that his time would come, even if it wasn't an overnight success story.
Absolutely. And that's such a powerful message for anyone listening right now who's chasing a dream. It's about focusing on what you can control, the effort, the consistency, the dedication to constant improvement, and trusting that those results will follow. It may not happen on your timeline, but it'll happen.
It's about playing the long game, even when that short game is tempting. It's about planting those seeds, nurturing them, and believing in the harvest, even before you see the first sprouts.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm feeling inspired. But let's be real for a second. There's a lot of curiosity, but also some misconceptions about Chinese culture.
Mhm.
Like, do all Chinese people really eat dogs? I mean, Shun's Spanish Chinese, so he's got this unique perspective on this.
He does, and he tackles this head on, comparing it to assuming all Spanish people love bullfighting.
Right.
It's about recognizing those cultural blind spots, those sweeping generalizations that prevent us from truly understanding a culture. Shun challenges us to look beyond those stereotypes and engage with the complexities of a culture with, let's face it, over 1 billion people.
It's like judging an entire book by its cover, or even just a single sentence. There's always more to the story.
Precisely. And another topic that often gets oversimplified is the Chinese education system. We hear about the pressure cooker environment, the emphasis on rote memorization, but is that the whole picture?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about tiger moms and kids spending hours on end studying. What's Shun's take on that?
Well, he acknowledges the rigor, the discipline, the high expectations. Those are woven into the fabric of their education system. But he also highlights some fascinating nuances. Did you know that in some Chinese kindergartens, they actually teach kids basic life skills, like cooking and laundry?
Wait, seriously, kindergartners doing laundry. Now, that's something I haven't seen in any Western preschools.
Right.
I mean, I'm all for giving kids a head start in life, but laundry duty at 5 years old, that's a whole other level of responsibility.
Right. It's a completely different approach. And while it might not be something, we'd adopt wholesale, it does make you think about the values we prioritize in our own education systems. Are we equipping our kids with the life skills, the resilience, the resourcefulness, all the things they need to really thrive in a rapidly changing world?
It's like they're saying, hey, life's not all about acing exams and memorizing facts. You've got to be able to fend for yourself, too. It's a fascinating contrast, that's for sure. What else did Shun have to say about the whole education thing?
Well, he debunked this common myth about the Chinese version of TikTok, Douyin.
Okay.
There's this perception that it's this educational utopia filled with nothing but, science facts and history lessons.
Right, right.
But as Shun points out, It's not that different from the TikTok we know in the West. Still plenty of dance crazes, comedy skits, and yes, even those addictive algorithm-driven rabbit holes.
Oh man, the algorithm, it gets us all. So it's not a China thing, it's a human thing. We're all susceptible to the allure of a well-crafted video, no matter where we're from.
Exactly. It speaks to our shared humanity, our desire for connection, entertainment, a little bit of escapism.
And maybe that's a good reminder that beneath the cultural differences, the language barriers, the geographical boundaries, there's a lot more that unites us than divides us. We all face similar challenges, share similar dreams, get sucked into TikTok rabbit holes in equal measure.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most valuable takeaways from this conversation with Shun. It's about approaching different cultures with curiosity, with a willingness to challenge our assumptions and to learn from perspectives that are different from our own.
It's about broadening our horizons, expanding our understanding of the world, and maybe even picking up a few life lessons along the way.
Exactly. And speaking of life lessons, Shun shared a fascinating anecdote about this pivotal moment in Chinese history. Have you heard the story of General Xing Yu and his decision to burn the boats?
Burn the boats. Okay, you've definitely got my attention. It sounds dramatic, but I have a feeling there's a good story behind it. Fill me in.
Okay, so picture this. It's 208 BC, and General Sheng Yu is leading his army across a river, right?
Okay.
To confront this powerful enemy. They're facing impossible odds, outnumbered, outmaneuvered. So to inspire his troops and eliminate any possibility of retreat, Sheng Yu makes a bold decision.
Let me guess.
He orders his men to burn their own ships.
Whoa. Talk about a power move. No safety net, no going back. It's victory or nothing.
Exactly. It was a bold declaration. We're in this to win it. There's no turning back. And you know what? It worked. Inspired by their general's unwavering commitment, Shang Yi's army, they fought with this unparalleled ferocity and ultimately achieved a decisive victory.
Wow, talk about a leadership lesson for the ages. It's about that unwavering belief in your mission, that willingness to risk it all for something you believe in. It's incredibly inspiring. But let's be honest, not all of us are out there leading armies into battle. So how does this burn the boats mentality, how does it apply to our everyday lives?
It's about identifying those pivotal moments in your own life, those make or break decisions where you're ready to commit fully, to go all in on a dream, a goal, a new path. It's that point of no return where you're done with half measures and ready to embrace the unknown, even if it means facing your fears, pushing past your comfort zone.
So it's about finding that thing that lights you up inside, that thing you're willing to fight for even when the going gets tough. It's about silencing those inner doubts, those voices whispering, "What if you fail?" and replacing them with that unshakable belief in yourself and your vision.
Yes. And it's not about recklessness. It's about calculated risk-taking. It's about making informed decisions, but then having the courage to act decisively, to commit fully, and to trust the journey, even when you can't predict the outcome.
It's about embracing the unknown, stepping off the edge of your comfort zone, and trusting that you'll either soar to new heights or learn some valuable lessons along the way. Either way, you're moving forward, growing, becoming a more resilient, courageous version of yourself.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive, that's the question we want to leave you with. What's your burn the boats moment? What's that one goal, that one dream that's maybe been simmering on the back burner? What would it take for you to go all in? What are you willing to burn the boats for? Take a moment to really sit with that question, because sometimes the most extraordinary chapters in our lives, they begin with a single courageous decision. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, it's time to set those ships on fire and embrace the adventure that awaits on the other side.